Welcome to our presentation, guys. Our promise to you guys today is that we're going to show you how to turn your child into a #1 Amazon best-selling author. And we want to be clear from the very beginning. The writing, editing, illustrating, and publishing process we're going to share with you today will work for you even if you don't know what the book should be about, aren't good with writing or editing, have no graphic design skills, and never published anything. And also stay till the end because I'm going to show you how you can get it done. Even if you don't have the time, don't want to do it yourself, and need it done as soon as possible. So stay till the end. I promise you it's going to be worth your time, and it's not going to take very long.
And we are
Zach Story,
a genius marketer, and Natalia Story.
an amazing graphic designer and a phenomenal parent who works with kids. First, let's talk about why would you want to help your child become a #1 best-selling author on Amazon, right? And first of all, most important, is a huge competitive advantage when applying to elite schools or high school or colleges. The other benefits of that is they're going to learn the value of building an asset that generates passive income, which is huge. Because like one of my favorite books is Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, where he actually talks about the 3 types of income, right? There's this earned income that comes from salary. And we, for instance, don't want to give our kids an employee mindset. We're entrepreneurs. There's a portfolio income that comes from investments, but that actually requires active management. That requires, it's not passive. And there's passive income that comes from royalties of an asset you've built. And kids learn that from an early age when they become best-selling authors like Sky.
He loves to wake up in the morning and check how much money he made while he was sleeping, which is a cool thing for kids.
And also it opens many doors and creates PR and media opportunities for kids.
Isn't that cool?
Guys, who are we looking at here, babe?
Alec Raven. He published
on Jay Leno's.
Yes, he published his first book when he was 8. His book became New York Times bestseller. He basically talked about how to talk to girls. The book addressed boys who didn't know how to talk to girls.
That's how awesome it is. And take a look at this. This is our son, Sky, with our mayor of our town. He's 9 here, already building powerful connection from an early age. And he got through that door to get introduced to the mayor through his books. So, that's really crucial. And also, it's extremely prestigious. Let's be real about that, right? As well as it's a very powerful identity, because let's be honest for a second. Everybody wants to write a book, maybe even you, but only 1% of people ever do. And only 1% of those become bestsellers. So it's a huge identity shift for kids. I can tell you from my personal experience with my son, how his whole mindset changed once he became a best-selling author on Amazon. So we also know that this works because we already did it ourselves with our own son. Here's he is, Skylar Story. We also did it with Leon, and we did it with Philip, and we did it with Angie. So we know this works from experience, and we did it with a chapter book. We did it from a comic book. We did it with, we sent a copy of this comic book to Elon Musk, a physical copy.
Because that book was inspired by launch of Starship. And kids were imagining, what would it be, the life on Mars, and would they be able to play hockey?
And they had to learn a lot of things about gravity and how gravity is different on Mars.
What would be the weight of the puck, for example?
Yeah, and we also did it with Choose Your Own Adventure style books. So we already did it with 3 different books, which brings me to my favorite quote from L.H. Hardwick, is that a man with an experience is never at the mercy of a man with an opinion. So with that being said, let's begin. How we turned our 8-year-old into a best-selling author in 5 weeks. And here you look at him right now, looking at that picture, how happy he is. When this is the first time he unboxed this book that came into the mail.
The first book arrived, and the physical copy is so magical to see. Like, all your work comes down to all this, like, it's sort of like piece of art for kids.
It really is. All right, let's get started. So first, we're going to just go over really quickly 13 steps of the process. Like, this is what it is, guys. And you're going to get this video in your email because you opted in. And so if you have to rewatch it and pause it, do it as many times as you need to. So, but we're going to dive into details like right after this, right? So this is the overview. So step 1 is brainstorming, like problem, solution, idea. Step 2 is choosing the style of the book. And there's many styles. We did 3 different styles. We did a chapter book, we did a comic book, and we did Choose Your Own Adventure style, but there's many other styles. Then step 3 is actually doing the interviews, conducting the interviews with your child, because you want to capture their stories. You want the book to be written in a story format, and you want to capture their stories in either audio or video format, because you'll see later we're going to be uploading that into AI in order to train AI to write and speak like they do. Step 4 is creating an outline. If it's a chapter book, creating a mind map. If it's Choose Your Own Adventure style book, or creating panels if you're choosing to do a comic book. Step 5 is actually creating a manuscript using ChatGPT. Step 6 is editing of that manuscript, manual edits, because we don't want ChatGPT output in the book. We want the kid's voice to be transferred, so we manually edit it. Step 7 is illustrating the book. You want the book to be well illustrated, to be fun to read. Step 8 is design edits. We have to design all that AI output in terms of illustrations. Step 9 is cover of the book design, which is crucial because in the Amazon feed, the book needs to pop, and we'll talk about it in details right now. Step 10 is putting it all together. Step 11 is leveraging Amazon's Kindle Direct process publishing account in order to actually get it out there and hit #1 bestseller. Step 12 is uploading revisions, because there might be a couple of revisions for you to be able to actually upload it. It's not, straightforward sometimes. It's a little tricky, but we'll show you how it is and you can get it done. And step 13 is promoting and hitting the Amazon's #1 bestseller. So let's get started. So step 1, problem solution idea.
So why it's not just brainstorming? Brainstorming is two-way. You need to be a little bit more specific in terms of, is there any specific problem kids care about? For example, some kids care about sports, hockey, or it could be plastic in the ocean. It could be anything, like Wyatt Workman wrote the book, I'm Not a Trash Monster, because he cared about ocean.
Well, let's give them some examples. So here's example number 1, guys. Our son's passion is hockey and football. These guys are his idols, right? He loves Tom Brady, he loves Alex Ovechkin. So his first book that he wanted to write about, his idea was, well, what would happen if these two guys traded places? What would happen if the GOAT of football traded places with the GOAT of hockey? And how would that actually, what would actually happen then? So we wrote this book with him, What Happens When GOATs Trade Places, which is actually quite funny book that came out to be.
Of course it's funny. Because imagine Tom Brady on ice.
On ice, yeah. Or Ovechkin trying to throw a pass. So,
but the idea for the book also came from, like, he loves hockey, and he also knows that Tom Brady's son plays hockey.
Oh, that's a good point.
So he thought about, like, okay, his son plays hockey, but he plays football. So all that started, like, in his imagination.
Melting in his head,
his imagination. And then he imagined these two guys he loved the most switching places.
And the second example is, like, we have this student of ours from our My Kid Entrepreneur Club, Andy Yang, who actually is also a hockey player like Sky. So together they came up with an idea, wait, there's no comic books out there for kids. So this was their idea. Why don't we write and create a first of its kind comic book about hockey?
Hockey on Mars with aliens.
Yeah, and then also that time, like Natalia said, there was a Starship launch going on. So that all gelled in their head to create Hockey on Mars. And the third example is these boys
realized that there is a huge problem. Kids are getting depressed more and more, and the rising numbers of depression in kids were, like, shocking for them. And they decided to write this book, Happiness is a Choice, for kids to go through this journey, to show them that happiness is a choice we make every single day. And that's how they decided to tackle this problem of rising depression.
Isn't that freaking awesome, guys? Does this make sense? Like, are you excited yet? All right, let's keep going to step number 2, which is choosing the style of the book. So we did it with 3 different books. We did a chapter book, comic book, and choose your own adventure style book.
And also educational.
We have our own book, which we'll talk about also in a second. We published this book, My Kid Entrepreneur, 3 years ago. But here's a pro tip, guys. The chapter book is the easiest to write. So for many of you, if it's your first book you're going to be doing with your child, start with a chapter book. It'll just be a lot easier, unless you're a graphical design editor like Natalia and you want to do it, which is probably the hardest one to do, right? The comic book.
Yes.
But chapter book is basically where you want to start. So let's go to step number 3, which is interviews. You want to conduct those interviews with your child because stories is what makes the book. Story-based books are interesting, they're intriguing, they're easy to read, and you want the book to be in your child's voice. You want to carry their message. And the best way to do it is first to record them, ask them questions, have them answer the questions, because later you're going to take the transcript of that, upload it to ChatGPT, and have ChatGPT actually spit out the first draft of the book. We'll talk about it in 2 steps in a second. So interviews is very, very important. That's really the key to making the book happen. And this, for instance, here is an outline of Sky's first book, the chapter book, right? This is all it was. It's 7 chapters. And it was really fun doing it. It wasn't as hard as we would thought it would be. So I highly recommend this. But you want to do a mind map if it's choose your own adventure book, because choose your own adventure books are not linear. You go back and forth. So you got to create a mind map first of what the book will be about. And this is what you do with the comic book. You got to create these kind of like captions. You got to create panels.
Panels with different captions.
Yeah. Right. So these are the 3 books we did, right? Which brings us to our next step, which is Chat GPT. Once you have your interviews done, you have your transcript with your kids, and you've done the outline of what you want a book to be about, we need to leverage AI today in order to get the first rough draft of the book. And we all know, like, our world changed, right? On November 30, 2022. Now, ChatGPT came to the world, and I think it had like 100 million subscribers in less than a month. So today, if you're not leveraging AI, you're staying behind. But to me, it was one of the actually awesome benefits of doing this with each other, because our son learned how to leverage AI through doing this book. And here's a picture of us literally a few weeks after ChatGPT came out. This was Christmas Day, December 24th of 2022, when me and Sky sat down to record, to me start interviewing him. Natalia recorded this on video, and we're talking about these 2 guys, right? This was when he told me about this idea for the book, like, what happens if these 2 guys would trade places? And literally 5 weeks later, this book was already published, and because I'm a marketer, I promoted it to become the #1 bestseller on Amazon, which I will teach you in step 13, how to do it, and you can do the same. All right, let's keep going to part of the step is you have to, we recommend you to upgrade to ChatGPT 4.0 because it's way more powerful. It's only $20 a month. If you're doing it just for this purpose, you won't do it for more than a couple of months, 2-3 months. So it's not going to cost even nearly as much as you're going to get out of it. So we highly recommend upgrading to ChatGPT paid version.
It's not just more powerful. I feel like it's smarter because
Wait.
simply it was trained after 2021, and the free version, it has limitations because it was trained only up until like
Yeah, so this is a no-brainer. This is a no-brainer, guys. All right, so you want to upload your child ideas and stories that you captured during the interviews into ChatGPT 4.0, and you want to instruct it to write it out chapter by chapter, one at a time, because it's not going to spit out the whole book for you. So one chapter at a time based on the outline. So you upload the idea of the chapter and have it, after it's already trained on the interviews, give you the chapter by chapter breakdown. All right. And here's a pro tip, guys. You can instruct it to add humor and also emojis to make it much more fun to read, which the 3rd book we did has emojis in it. And I can tell you that it's way more fun to read. And we also got feedback from parents and from kids who bought our book, that the 3rd book is way more fun to read simply because we added a lot of humor and also emojis.
It's also because kids are writing books for their own, like for other kids.
Yeah,
and kids are so used to emojis, text messages, that it's just more.
So have it, help you be more humorous and add emojis right away. All right, step 6, manual edits. Now you want to manually edit the book because you do not want the book to sound like ChatGPT. So what we did afterwards is we sit down with every child and we go through chapter by chapter and make sure that we edit it in the way that we heard them during the interviews, to make sure that it actually sounds just the way they speak. You simplify the language and you get rid of all the fancy words, and you use kind of like things, and you use all kinds of stuff to manually edit the book, make sure it sounds just the way the child speaks.
And you also add more details from their own stories.
Absolutely, because ChatGPT will not do it for you, so we do it. We did it, and you can do the same. All right, step number 7 is illustrating the book. Now, we've tested every AI tool out there for illustrations. We found Midjourney to be the best one today when we're recording this in September of 2023. So as of right now, Midjourney is the one you want to use. And midjourney.com is where you register for the account, but you access it through discord.com.
Yep.
Don't ask me why. This is how they set it up. Midjourney is a bot. Discord is the server. So whatever that is, but you register at midjourney.com, you access it through discord.com. Okay. And then you create the images using this prompt. And I'll give you an example in a second. So it's /imagine. That's the beginning of the prompt. And here an example for you. This is the prompt we use, /imagine, dinosaur skeleton in the museum. We want it to be fun, white background, hand-drawn, and using these 4 colors, yellow, green, red, and blue, right? So that's the output we got when we put in this input into Midjourney.
I love this dinosaur.
Yeah, and we recommend to making at least 1 or 2 images for each chapter so you can illustrate the book well, but there's no really like rule on that. You can do more, you can do less. It's really up to you how you want the book to look and feel. And then it brings you to step number 8, which is a professional design edit of those images. Here's a good example for you. We got this gorilla image out of Midjourney, but we wanted to remove some of the colors. We wanted the white background. We wanted a few different changes to it in terms of the quality. So Natalia, who is a professional graphical designer, she made some of these edits, but it's not just for these images. We'll cover the cover of the book in a second. So you're going to need a professional designer to help you with it. But you can find them they're not that expensive because AI will generate the images for you. You can find that you can just Google some websites, or here are 3 websites for you: 99 Designs, Upwork, and Fiverr. Because you already have the images done by AI, that work is not even that expensive. All you do is you just modify it to fit the book, which brings me to step number 8, professional cover. Now, this is actually very, very important for hitting the bestseller list. Why? Because cover is what people see in the Amazon feed. It needs to stand out. These are the like all-time classics we put here: 1984 by George Orwell, Harry Potter, and The Dogman. But just to illustrate to you how they stand out, see how colorful they are? This is what you want to get with your cover of your book. You want them to pop in the Amazon feed. And here are 3 covers we did that you see also pop in the feed. They're very colorful. They're very bright. You know, this is not by accident. This is by design. So this is why you want a professional graphic designer to actually create that for you. Have at least 2-3 mock-ups they give you before you choose one and zone in on it. You know, but this is kind of key to hit the best-selling status. You want the cover to pop in Amazon's feed. Let's move on to step number 2, which is putting it all together. So now you have your manuscript, you have your illustrations done, you have your digital book cover, which is not the same thing as print book cover, because digital book cover just requires the front. There's no back and there's no spine, right? But if you want to be able to get a hardcover or actually a printed book, you need to have these 3 things. You got to have the back, the spine, and the front. Again, that's why you need a professional designer to get it done. Those 3 websites that we mentioned, you can use that. And so this is like critical. You have to get this done professionally in order for the book to pop, in order like, look at this book, babe, show the book. Like, this is how it looks, and show the back now.
And when they print the whole piece
Yeah.
at once. So it's one whole piece of paper. And that's why the design has to be adjusted to number of pages. So that's going to be the thickness of the spine, and then back and front all
All right.
together.
Does this make sense so far? All right, let's move on to the next step. Oh no, actually, let's finish putting it all together. So we use Adobe InDesign to do our books. You can also use Kindle Create. Those are the 2 softwares we recommend.
But Kindle Create has its own limitations. For example, you're not going to be able to use emojis inside Kindle Create, or you are very much limited in terms of the location, the space, the white space, the location of the images. So InDesign is better.
And that's why we recommend you to hire professional Adobe InDesign Pro to do this for you. Simply because it's going to take you months and years, like Natalia spent learning the software. You can just shortcut the whole thing, get a professional designer. Again, because you have the images done yourself, it's not going to be prohibitively expensive. So step 11 is about Kindle Direct Publishing account, guys. And this is the big one. So it's going to get a little technical, but don't worry. We're going to walk you through every step of the way so you will know exactly what to do. So first step is you got to register for your Kindle Direct Publishing account using your existing Amazon account. I'm sure everybody's got one. So just use that account and go to kdp.amazon.com and create your KDP account. All right. Once you get into the account, the first thing you're going to see is this image, which is the biggest yellow button, create. By hitting that button is where you start publishing your book process. Once you get in there, you're going to see the screen, which gives you 5 options. We want to concentrate on these 3 options: the Kindle ebook, the paperback, and hardcover. Keep in mind, in order to be able to publish it in hardcover, you got to have at least 75 pages of the book. Once you get past that, you got to select, of course, the first one, the Kindle ebook. But once you get past that, it's going to give you the option to choose the language you want to publish the book in, or else it was English. Then it's going to be the book title and subtitle, which is actually quite important. So spend some time thinking about it. You leverage ChatGPT to give you the ideas for it. Because again, books are bought based on cover, title, and subtitle. So invest the time to make sure you get a catchy title and an interesting subtitle for it. After this, you can skip the series and edition number. It's going to bring you to the author, which where you put in the child's name. And on the same page, you're going to see contributors. So if you want to give credit to somebody that helped you write the book, or it's a foreword, or it's an illustrator, this is where you give credit to other people. Then it's going to come to a very important step, which is description. Description is key because this is what people see in the Amazon. Once they click on the title, on the image, you'll take them to the description of the book. So you want to be very descriptive. Again, leverage AI to create a very interesting and intriguing curiosity-based description of what the book is about. I think it's quite important to actually be to
Yes.
invoke curiosity
Yes,
here.
because it's sort of like it's sort of like a landing page. It's once you click on the book, it gives you the whole page where you are marketing the book. It's sort of like a sales page where you
Absolutely.
sell the book.
Yeah, so think of it like a sales page. Think of it like a marketing promotion of the book right here in the description. All right, so after that, it's going to move on to the next step, which is publishing rights. You want to select the button that says that you own the rights to this book, and audience. Like this is only about like if it's the book is for adults or minors. Obviously, with children, it's going to be for everybody. This is not some explicitly sexually material, so that's where you select that. And then it's going to ask you for the primary marketplace. That's basically the country you're from. So if we're in the United States, it's .com. It's the primary marketplace. It'll still be in other countries too, but the primary marketplace is .com. If you're in Great Britain, you'll choose .uk and so forth and so on. The next step is categories. Now, I'm going to cover categories in a little bit because it's actually very, very important to understand this. When we're promoting the book to become the bestseller, we compete in a specific category. It's going to allow you to choose 3 different categories here, and I'll demonstrate to you why it's so important when we get to step 13. But for now, I'm going to skip this. This is going to be about keywords, the next step, right? Keywords is how people might find your book, because don't forget, Amazon is a huge search engine. People come there with intention to buy and they search. So this is important to think through what the book is about, create the keywords for the topic, the theme of the book, and put them in here. When it comes to pre-ordering the book, we do not recommend doing it because we want to hit the bestseller. So we don't want anybody to pre-order the book because pre-orders don't count towards the amount of sales for the bestseller. So here you just want to skip it. You don't want to enable people to be able to pre-order your book, no matter how counterintuitive that might sound to you. All right. The next step will be to upload the manuscript. So this is where you already have your manuscript done. You've added it manually. You upload it here. And the next step is Kindle ebook cover. So this is where you upload the digital cover, right, babe?
Yes. So basically, first you go through the publishing process for ebook, then you go through the same process, almost the same for paperback version, and then if you want to do hardcover, you go through the same process again.
Which is a good point to remember. So you're going to need different covers. You're going to need first the cover for the digital.
And manuscript also has different sizes.
And manuscript has different sizes for digital and for print. And after you upload the cover, it'll allow you to preview the whole thing now in order to proofread it, take a look how it looks. This is where you do it right here in the preview. The next step is about ISBN. Now, for the first initial launch, you're not going to need it because digital Kindle books do not require to have an ISBN number, but they do require it once you go into print. So ISBN number is basically this international book number. It's a 13-digit number. And if you ask yourself a question right now, well, where do I get one? It's very easy. Amazon gives it to you for free. Yeah, how cool is that? You know, back in the day, people used to have to go to a publishing house to pay them. These days,
yeah, it's used
Amazon.
And still today, it could cost you about like from anywhere from $100 to $300.
But nowadays, Amazon just gives it you for free in order to have it, and it looks like this on the cover of the book, right? Right here in the bottom, you get the ISBN number.
And this ISBN number basically reflects countries you're selling the book, how many copies you sold, where those sellings are coming from. It has a lot of information about your book.
All right, moving forward. So step 12 now, files upload. Wait, why don't you take over a little bit and talk about like, because it's different files for different versions of the book.
So this window you'll see once you published ebook, right?
Mm-hmm.
So at this point, only ebook, only digital version of the book is published. Then you go through the same process. So it's the same description, the same language. You can just copy all the keywords, even categories. You can choose different ones or you can choose the same ones. But then I want to show the difference. The difference is when you are choosing the paper and the illustrations. Do you want illustrations in white and black? What's going to be the thickness of the paper? So it's a weight of the paper, and you have an ability to change sizes. So for example, this book is 6x9, but this book is 8x11. So you have more options when it comes to print, and that would also define your printing cost. For example, this book cost about $4.64, and this book would be about $9 to print.
Okay, so then you upload the manuscript, the book cover, and you get a chance to preview your work right here.
And for print, so manuscript, book cover, right?
Book preview.
You do book preview, but for print, you also gonna need to go through quality check. So on the top left corner, you would see the mistakes you need to fix in order to send the book for print, and you also need to approve it. On the top, on the bottom left corner, you see the yellow button, approve. So once you approve, you go through pricing, and royalties for print and royalties for digital are a little bit different. So for print, they also include printing costs. So your royalties will be about 60%. And for digital, it's you have a choice to choose between 30 or 70%.
But I'll tell you guys, like, babe, before you move forward, like, this is the coolest part for kids. Like,
Yeah.
when my son logs into his Amazon sellers account, he just looks at these royalties he's making. He's always so excited about the fact that he didn't have to do anything anymore and just wakes up and just made a few more dollars, like every single day.
And it's not
Wants to
just
check it.
dollars. He's checking which countries he's
Right,
selling it, which he starts converting money like from. It's sort of like that Friends episode, Vermont money. Remember?
Yeah, are you guys getting it yet? How exciting is this? Like, your kids are gonna learn the power of making money while they're asleep.
Okay, and then after you publish your print, you as an author have an ability to order author copies at cost, at printing cost. So Amazon allows you to order up to 999 copies at once. So you can order as many times as you want, up to 999 copies.
Yeah, which is
at
quite
printing
awesome.
cost. Yeah.
Because he takes this book with him to his hockey practices. He's got the comic book Hockey on Mars, which he sells on his hockey tournaments. Also, we have this hockey book listed in the bookstore here in Connecticut where we shop. So the owner was very nice. We asked him, he's like, yeah, of course. So the book retails on Amazon for $15. It retails for the same amount in his store, but it costs us less than, as an author, less than $5 to get a copy. And they split the difference with the store, right? So the store makes $5. Sky makes $5 on every book they sell. And that's where you order that, ordering author copies. And after this, you celebrate. You did it. Your kid is now at least a published author. And we're going to talk about how to actually change it from a published author to a best-selling author right now. So this is step 13, promotion to #1 Amazon bestseller. Guys, I'm going to walk you through it. It's not as difficult as it sounds, even though you have to do your research. So first, you have to understand that Amazon has hundreds of book categories and subcategories. And when you're competing for #1 bestseller, you're competing in a specific category and subcategory. So doing your research is paramount because you don't want to be competing with Harry Potter category, which is right here. You can see that it's children's books on friendship. So stay away from that category because you're not going to be able to beat Harry Potter. I can pretty much guarantee you
And
that.
it's also because Harry Potter has 7 books.
Yeah,
And
look at all these titles.
5, right? 4 of them Harry Potter. So it's very hard to compete.
But I'll show you categories you can easily beat. Like, for instance, take a look at this category, children's movie, right? So you see that the first book here has only 80 reviews. And the second book has 457 reviews. That's already much more reasonable than 70,000 from Harry Potter's. But take a look at this one right here below, number 6. It's only got 2 reviews, right? Because this category is obviously very, very beatable. But in the next slide, I'll show you something phenomenal. So the key to hitting the #1 bestseller on Amazon is to sell as many copies as possible in the first hours of the launch. Here's a great example of that. This category is small town and rural fiction, right? And in this category, you can see that number 2 has almost 64,000 reviews. Yet number 1 has only 4 reviews. And the way that it's done is when this book was launched, the people that launched it, they're smart marketers like me that who actually understand the importance of making sure we sell as many copies in the first hour or 2 or 3 of the launch. And they beat this book that has tens of thousands of reviews, and they hit the #1 in this category with just 4 reviews and probably 100 to 200 sales. Not sure how many sales, it doesn't show it to us, but I can tell you from our experience, it's not thousands, right? So this is what you want to do. You want to let everybody you know, social media, your friends, your relatives, everybody that your friends hang out with in schools, that, hey, on this hour, on this day, we're going to be launching his book. please do us a favor, buy a copy. And you want to price it as cheap as possible because the first book comes out on digital. So what's the lowest cost? $1.99?
$1.99. Yep.
$2, right? So it's nothing for almost everybody. So you ask everybody to just please buy a copy. They buy these copies. It's very important to sell as many copies as possible in the first hours of the launch. And that's how you become a #1 bestseller on Amazon. For your kids, it's a huge identity shift because they're seeing, and you'll see the book progress through the rankings as the sales come in. You'll see 20 sales, boom, the book jumps to number 50. You see another 30 sales, book jumps number 25. Like, it just jumps. And your kid is watching it in real life on Amazon sellers account, and it's just, it changes the way they think, the way they view themselves, and then they become the #1 bestseller on Amazon just by selling a few hundred copies in the first hours of the sale. Right? And guys, if you're feeling a little bit like this right now, I totally understand you. But remember in the beginning, I told you, if you stay till the end, it'll be worth your time. So here it is. We have a solution for you because we do this now as a service. So we can work with your child to come up with their cool idea, to choose the style of the book is going to be written in. We're going to have, well, Natalia will have a lot of talks and laughs with your child because she's the one who conducts the interviews.
We have
And
a lot of fun.
I see it. I can tell you, they're really enjoying the process of doing it. We're going to capture their stories in order to put them into the book, in order to make sure the book is written in your child's language. We're going to create the outline of the book. We're going to write, edit, illustrate the book with your child. We're going to put it all together, take all the legwork from you. We're going to make sure that it's written, that it has published in digital and in print. And also, it's not going to be just published on Amazon. We're going to publish it on Barnes & Noble. We're going to publish it on Apple Books, and we're going to publish it on Google Play Books. So the book your child will publish will be everywhere, absolutely everywhere.
It creates an amazing omnipresence and also a lot of invitations to different events, keynote speakers, it depends on the problem kids want to solve. They get a lot of invitations from different podcasts. And
absolutely, like you've seen Alec Greven being on Jay Leno's podcast. Like, this is what your child can achieve by publishing their book, becoming a bestseller, make sure it's listed everywhere else. But we will also submit your book for multiple book awards. Like, for instance, our book, My Kid Entrepreneur, won 2 prestigious awards. It won 2021 Book of the Year from Creative Child Magazine, and also a Tillywick Award winner, 2 very prestigious awards in children's space. And we're going to submit your child's books for competing for those awards and other awards as well. But you got to hurry up. I'll tell you why. Because so far we did it with 3 other kids outside of our son, and we gave their parents a huge discount because they wanted a proof of concept in business, right? So keeping going, the next 8 customers are going to get 60% off our services. And the 3 after that are going to get 40% of our services. And the 3 following are going to get 20% of our services. So you really want to, like, hurry up, click the button below this video, schedule a call directly with me and Natalia, and we'll see if we can be a good fit for you and if we can work together. And everyone after that is going to pay full price when they want our services, because we're going to have done it already with 15 kids. We're going to have done it with many, many different type of books, and our services are going to go to premium pricing. So hurry, hit that button below, and schedule your call directly with me. And thank you very much for watching this presentation. We really value your time.
thank you so much.
And we're hoping to see you on that Zoom call with us.